And next is the story of a concerned mother who took matters into her own hands. Her son was deemed mentally handicapped in school, but Barbara Rivera didn't think that was true. So she pulled him out and homeschooled him instead. Now, a few years down the road, she's opened her own school to help others thrive as well. I spoke to her, and this is her story. And we're bringing in the principal of the school, Barbara Rivera. It's good to have you, Barbara.
Thank you. Nice meeting you.
First of all, I really want to know how you did it, because you were able to give kids their confidence back. And when public schools deemed some kids unteachable, you were able to prove them wrong. So I really want to know, how did you do this? I mean, did you figure something out that they didn't?
Well, I used the book Learning How to Learn, which is a study philosophy by L. Ron Hubbard. And it basically means if you know the definitions of words and you can apply those words to real life, you can master anything. And that resounded in me because that's what I needed for my son. I knew he could master things, and the school didn't. So I taught him definitions of words. I put it on the proper gradient. I made sure we covered things over and over and over with mastery in mind, instead of just giving him bits and pieces of data that he was confused on all of it, and then he was shut down. So the same thing I did with my son, I do with others.
That's very interesting that this can change so much. And yeah, you just mentioned your son. You started the school because of your son, I understand. And would you please share with us how he is doing now and how he changed after you pulled him out of public school?
All right, well, it took me 2 years to really get my son back. Like, his confidence was just shot. So he was, at the end of first grade, he was convinced he was stupid, which to me, there's no 6-year-old on the planet who should feel that way. None of them should feel that way. Anyway, so 2 years of work and getting his confidence, and then he was back to my boy. And now he is the vice president of a marketing company, and they do videos and this, that, and the other. And even through the pandemic, their stats were up. So he's, his IQ is very high. I don't know. I could talk about my son forever and ever because I'm the mom, but he's doing very well.
I also want to talk about, what really sets your school apart from others, because I hear that you're using school books from the 1800s and 1900s. So, I mean, I have to ask, nowadays, kids live in such a different environment and, social context, if you will. And people could also argue that those books are outdated from a knowledge standpoint. So how do you make it work?
Okay, so I'm going to show you something. This is something I got in just this week. This is phonics. This does not ever outdate. And if you look at the page, it's very simply put. This does never go out of date. So the textbooks that I use, now I will use this, and sometimes I handwrite it, sometimes we make our own, but we can use this to teach our children, because also in Miami, you have a large number of Latin children who get labeled learning disabled because they're tested in English when they don't speak the language. It's ridiculous. Anyway, so this doesn't outdate. Grammar does not outdate. Mathematics does not outdate. The other things do. Granted, the other things do. But if I can produce a child, like I did with my own children, who can read, write, express themselves, and do mathematics, the other things then are so much easier.
And I think that's absolutely a fascinating story that you can tell, and incredibly important work, of course, educating the next generation. So thank you for your time today, Barbara Rivera.
Thank you. Thank you.